Hello, Steve. It's Daniel from Metal Wani. How are you today?
How you doing? Yeah, nice to talk to you, Danny.
All right. It is your first ever tour to Australia and New Zealand, and
Yep.
fans will hear you play your solo music as well as Genesis material on stage for the first time. How much are you looking forward to performing in front of your Antipodean fans?
Oh, tremendously. I just have a feeling that I get the feeling it's going to go very well. I just get that feeling. Maybe it's unlucky to say that, but I just get the feeling there's all this enthusiasm from both sides. The band are looking forward to coming. I'm looking forward to coming. My wife's thrilled to be coming. Australia, big adventure, lost continent. I've been wanting to come all my life, and it hasn't happened yet. Thank God. It's happening to me at this point in time. I mean, I've got other pals who passed on, who are very talented people who said, they long to play Australia and have never arrived for them. So it's a rare privilege, believe me. Looking forward to it.
And why has it taken you this long to tour down under?
I'll tell you why. I think it's because at one point, David Williams, who's the promoter we're going with, approached a manager of mine who I was involved with for many years, but he wasn't passing on information to me. He had a vested interest in keeping me in the dark about various things. And I don't want to go into too many details, or I might end up in court again with the guy. But the fact is, sometimes people who are closest to you can end up working against you. And now, and for the past 10 years, I've been in the position of managing my own career with my present wife, Jo. We've been together as a full-time couple for the past 10 years. And there's no hidden agendas. Everyone's working towards a common end, which is let's get out there and play to as many people as possible. So I apologize that it's taken this long, but everyone has their man in the iron mask moments. Sometimes you are restrained from carrying out your things that are your destiny. Things can be thwarted for a while, but here we are, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And I would like to say congratulations on your amazing new album, The Night Siren. This album...
Well, thank you for that, yeah.
I mean, this album is an amalgamation of so many musical styles. Were the musicians selected specifically to bring about the concept, or did the concept arise because you had a collection of musicians?
One thing led to another. I would love to say, hand on heart, that we should design this, from the ground up. But this thing started to blossom as we made more and more friends around the globe and acquired more and more data and acquired instruments and travelled to various places. It's an album that was done in a number of locations. It was a great thrill to work in Hungary with some of the Hungarians and Icelandic people. The same thing with working in Sardinia, some of those characters. And then, you've got the Peruvian influence and the Swedish, the American. Nick Virgilio working in Miami, sending us drum stuff over. Guy from Azerbaijan, Malik Mansurov, playing guitar. I'd acquired a number of performances of his playing solo when I was in Budapest 2 years ago. In other words, this whole thing is a bit like sticking together a bit of a tapestry, really, or a jigsaw of many assorted parts. do this thing by design, if there's any kind of mosaic quality to it, it's because you think, oh, here's a bright, shiny piece from here, and it might just mix with this, and if I'm very flexible, I may be able to assimilate this into the whole picture. It's all an extension of friendship. That's how it starts. You make friends with people, and you either ask them if they'd like to work with you, or they ask you if you'd like to work with them. And if you've got this open door policy, you can make an album like this. I think it's a byproduct of being well travelled. And you know, as a touring musician, I've been to tons of places. Unfortunately, never to Oz so far, but looking forward to that tremendously. So I think it's a case of an attitude of mind, without wanting to labour the point, that if you're flexible enough, you can work with a whole ton of people with different instruments all around the world. Technology's there, you can be there in person, as many of the performances are, or you can file share, as many other performances, and but friendship is where it starts. Fellowship, friendship, old concepts like that.
Mm. I also wanted to touch on the fact that you've collaborated with Kobi from Orphaned Land on the song West to East, and recently Orphaned Land announced that you're going to be a guest on their upcoming album. How did your relationship with Orphaned Land come about?
Well, I think that in many ways I like to repay people in kind. If they do me a favour, I like to do the same. And of course, both Kobi and Mira, who has the Palestinian background, the fact that they work together, and Mira is involved with the Arab Hebrew Theatre of Jaffa to try and heal divisions between both sides, so that both sides can start to understand each other. I think they're uniquely placed to realise what a tragedy current thinking is. If extremists are in charge and are allowed to remain in charge, then we'll just end up blowing each other to bits. Only too happy to lend my voice or my guitar to that, or sometimes my harmonica. Yeah, great. I think the job they do is extraordinarily important to show people that there is another way. It doesn't have to all be conflict.
You've influenced countless other musicians with your work, from Genesis and your solo music and many collaborations. And how do you view the modern incarnation of future guitar music?
Oh, wow, that's a very big question, isn't it? It's a very personal thing. I think that guitars have changed over the course of my lifetime. Electric guitars have changed from the Bonanza theme sound, the Dwayne Eddy sound, which I happened to love back in the day, to become this screaming voice, but then on to the next level, beyond the approach that we had with GTR, where we're plugging in, we're using synth and MIDI controllers, to the idea of the Fernandez guitars that I play. Whilst I'm still a fan of my Gibson Les Paul, the Fernandez with the onboard sustainer system allows you to eliminate percussion, eliminate decay, take the note that's in the middle, and you've got something that's sourced from guitar but doesn't have to sound like guitar. So I'm still looking in the corners of the instrument for what hasn't been done so far, and I'm still discovering new things. I happen to have found a wonderful new sound that I'm going to use on the next album that just makes me think of space travel. I just float off with it, and it's very unaggressive. very, very sweet, and to the uninitiated, I think he probably couldn't really tell what the sound source was at all. Something undistorted, using it with harmonizer, and using an octave up, and some delay, and a Fernandez. If you've got all of that equipment, you can beat me to the, to the finishing post with this. But it's extraordinary stuff that you can still do with a mechanical instrument. So I think that the future of guitar playing rests with each player and their take on it. Whether you're a classical fan of great work of Andres Segovia or Paco de Lucia, and those are very different approaches on essentially the same instrument. I try to listen to everyone. If I listen to Jimi Hendrix and Segovia, who perhaps probably couldn't relate to each other and wouldn't have taken something from each other, I like to think that I might find something that might have pleased both of them. Spacey enough for one, gentle enough for the other. Is that possible? To come up with something. I mean, I was very proud of the fact that years ago, I remember seeing John Lennon on TV arguing with Yehudi Menuhin about something. I forget what the argument was. It was on a British church show. And I'm very proud of the fact that in 1973, John Lennon said Genesis was one of the bands he was listening to.
Wow.
And at the same time, a few years later, Yehudi Menuhin used a piece of mine for a film that he'd been involved with called, I think it's called British Gardens, From Kew to Findhorn, and the rest of the music that was chosen on that was all classical music, and then there was something I'd done in the style of Eric Satie that was used at one point to illustrate, I think, biofeedback with plants. But the main thing was that although these men were arguing, that I had their ear, even for 5 seconds, those two great men. I'm very proud of that.
And the Night Siren is also a wake-up call to what's happening around the Western world, with right-wing populist leaders having the upper hand. How do you see music's role in bringing people together and spreading such an important message?
I think that music is doing that where politics has failed. Politics is leading us back to more protectionist, nationalistic, warlike attitudes, whereas musicians are natural musical migrants. There are no borders for musicians. There is a danger that the world is suffering from compassion fatigue. Thousands are suffering as we speak. Western world leaders have interfered in the politics of many countries who are left without infrastructure. And sure, there's going to be, as there are more and more surrogate wars, there are going to be more and more refugees. What you decide to do with them is another matter. All I can say is that there were 2 tracks on the album that address those issues. The opening track, Behind the Smoke, and West to East. Those are both tracks where my wife has taken the lead role lyrically in igniting the spark of my imagination, and after she comes up with a few lines, I'll suggest a few lines of my own. I have to say that both her family and mine in the late 1800s, just over 100 years ago, were Jewish refugees from Poland, who eventually made their way circuitously through Europe to the UK and worked in London's East End and worked very hard. When I hear the stories of both families, realise just how hard-working these extraordinary people were. So some extent, I figured that, none of us would really be here if they hadn't been about to travel. And assimilating all of that and honouring the ancestors and watching the world news, I suspect it's the same as your own take on this, where you think that, these people have got a rough deal and they're continuing to get a rough deal, and it's a bit like kicking a dog that can't fight back. No wonder we have terrorism, and I think the only way to combat terrorism is to open our borders, open our hearts. But I think there's more than enough to go around in the world right now. I think religion, unfortunately, radicalizes. Yes, it's Doris Lessing, who's an author that I met many years ago, who's written a book called Briefing for a Descent into Hell, and she talks about religion. She says, she said, and she's no longer of this earth, she said, 100 warring sects, S-E-C-T-S, each claiming their own version of the story to be true. This was her take on religion, and of course, yes, the divisions are, even with the monotheistic religions. It's not God I'm frightened of, it's his interpreters. Personally, I'm a pantheist. I believe that there is a world of spirit. I like to think it's a party that everyone's invited to. I don't see a scorecard. God is being supportable by intelligent thinking people. And the idea of hierarchy, surely it shouldn't be about that. We've had that. The idea of government. Oh dear, but hey, what can you do? Well, I think that London is all the stronger for the fact that several nights this week we've been in different restaurants. We were in a Lebanese cafe yesterday. Night before we'd eaten in a Chinese restaurant, and the night before that we'd been to a Greek restaurant. Food being served up, exquisite food being served up by people from all over. And I thought, this multicultural diversity, surely every field should be interested in this. Surely science should be interested in the greatest brains, and we should be interested in the best tasting plates of food and the best sounding music, perhaps. We should be doing that. And it was Mel Brooks, who many years ago, before he was making movies, writing scripts, when he had this thing called, I think it's called The 2,000-Year-Old Man. He's been fed lines by a straight guy saying, well, what was the first national anthem? And he said, yeah, I remember that. It was God bless all those in cave 13 and to hell with all the rest. Unfortunately, I have to make another phone call now to a British journalist.
It was a great...
I've run out of time talking to Danny, but I really enjoyed talking to you, and perhaps we'll get to talk again in the future.
I just wanted to say your music has been very inspiring for me in the last few years, and I really look forward to seeing you live when you come to Australia.
Thank you,
so
I hope to speak to again in the future. So all the best, mate. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.